What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today we must all open our third eye, our inner eye. This video is about awareness in Dragon Ball FighterZ, how to be more aware of what your opponent can do instead of just guessing all the time. Now, the place I want to start with this is that, of course, you know, there's going to be reads and interactions in between the players, and as you play somebody, you will figure out more and more like what they like to do, when do they like to do it, etc. But a big thing in this game, and it's a theme that I have talked about on this channel before, is that the actual game gives you a lot of information at all times, and you can use this information to extrapolate what they're going to do, and it'll make it easier for you to play against your opponent and make choices about what they can do. So today I have a couple of examples of things you can look at. They're all pretty much given to you by the game. You don't actually have to know 100% that the opponent's going to do it. The game kind of gives you little clues that this thing can come or that thing can come. So the first thing I want to talk about is meter, and meter is very important in fighting games in general. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, you get 7 bars. That's a lot. And new to Season 3, EX moves cost half a bar now. So there's a couple of things with this. So one, if you're using just a meter as your cue for, oh, this move can come, it's not quite enough. You need to kind of apply it by character. But the other thing too is that a lot of the strong moves in neutral that used to cost like a bar, like EX Wolfang Fist, EX Lariat from Bardock, etc., they have been toned down to account for this change. So before, like if we had a Yamcha, for example, EX Wolfang Fist, Vanish, jails for 2 bars, but it does not jail anymore, so it's not something you have to look for so much, as opposed to, like, say things like I base Vegeta here, EX Kick. So the EX Kick is invincible frame 4, so there are contexts that you have to look for it or build like some type of option set that covers them blocking and them doing that, or else he will have the option to do that to you. It also helps that if you look at his bar and he has 0.5 bar and you put him in that situation, and situations like this would be after blocking an overhead, after doing a vanish, maybe after a jump in, because if you try to set it up Dragon Rush, they might try to challenge you with EX Kick. Little situations like that, looking at their meter and knowing they have that half a bar to do it will make it easier for you to build an option set to counter these things. You can apply this across the cast as well. Like I have base Vegeta, Trunks, Broly. So Broly is not super liberal with his meter really in neutral or anything. That's mostly like an offense thing. Trunks would be EX Flip more than anything else, and base Vegeta would probably be EX Kick on defense. So once you know like what EX moves a character likes to do, you can look at their meter and see what assists they have and kind of be like, okay, you know, in this situation, they like doing EX moves. Do they have the meter to do it? And then compensate. So next, I want to talk about tag. So tag is a big one, because tag is one of the best reversals you have in the game. It's really safe, and the opponent can just hold it, and it's really hard to tell when someone is tagging in general. But the game actually has some context where it will tell you that the opponent is tagging, and knowing this will help your game out a lot, because you can get a heavy punish if you hit their tag. And the big cue that the game gives you, right, comes after a hit like this. So if I get hit and I hold tag, you can see there's a little X that comes up over Trunks' face. That means I'm trying to tag, but it's a spot where I cannot tag. The game locks me out of the tag until that duration is over. When you're blocking, it's about like 30 frames, but when you get hit, it's actually a smaller window. I think it's about 22 frames offhand, this window. So knowing this, when you hit them, you should definitely just take a quick glance. It only takes a little bit, you could definitely see it, and then there's a few things you could do. You can peel off and try to hit the tag, you could try to keep your offense going and try to just prevent them from tagging, because usually when they're tagging, they're only looking to tag. But at the very least, you need to know that they're tagging, because there are certain things you can't do if they're tagging. So for example, let's say I did this. So if I do this, and I'm tagging, oh no, I got my tag, oh no, and now blue Vegeta is healing. So besides this, of course, like the actual X, another cue you can use, especially in neutral, is if the opponent has a lot of blue life or if the opponent's character has low life. They will try to either just tag randomly, approach you with tag, get over you and tag, call an assist and tag. But health management and team management has been a consistent theme since the game has come out. And tag just is a super dash, so you can't punish it. So when the opponent has a lot of blue life for some reason, or they have low life and they're trying to, like, you know, move around a lot, definitely look for the tag. Now, as a final note, in neutral, this little tip I said about the X also applies to neutral. So what I mean is, like, if you get hit in neutral and then the opponent tries to tag, that X will still come out. This actually takes, like, max level awareness, like elite warrior awareness, to like glance in situations like this. But if you can do it, like force yourself to do it, it will help you a lot, especially in that context of, oh, they have a lot of blue life to recover, oh, their character doesn't have a lot of life, and then you can like do something about it, pin them down, or get ready for the incoming tag to 2H them into a touch of death or whatever you need. So next, assist. And assist is a big one in this game. Assists are really important because they help make the point character a complete character. Remember that generally Dragon Ball characters, in my opinion, are not generally complete. They need their assists to give them the extra tools that they're lacking. So paying attention to your opponent's assist is crucial, and I can't tell you how much I play against people, like especially like online, really online, and then like early on in tournaments, who one of their biggest mistakes is they don't pay attention to assists. This comes up in all sorts of places. For example, I'm base Vegeta, I do this kick, right? If I don't have my assists, I have to like do something. I have to move or something like that. But if I do have my assist, I'm probably calling my assist. So you need to be aware of whether or not I have it. That's a simple example, but it comes up in a lot of ways. What types of moves they're going to use, how they're going to use them, how they're going to use the assist to clear the screen, like things like that. When they don't have assists, that is your chance to approach them, because generally, again, if Dragon Ball characters are incomplete, all they can really do is just jump away from you over and over. So that's your chance to encroach on them, try to get in on them, walk them to the corner, things like that. Paying attention to their assists is really important. And new to Season 3 is now you recover your assists differently on offense. So now you recover it much slower than before. Much slower than before. So when you're on defense, after they use their assists, they had to leave a certain amount of time, basically the amount of time it takes you to tag, before they get their assist back. So when they don't have assists, they have to really overextend or try to use system mechanics to hit you, especially if their character doesn't have like a command grab or like a special move overhead like Trunks or something like that. They have to really overextend to keep pressure, and they usually are not going to get stuff. They usually need assists to do mix-ups. So paying attention to their assists means that you can see when you have a chance to escape and when mix-ups won't come from them. And that's a really big important point. You have to pay attention to their assists. So the last thing I want to talk about is sparking. So sparking is there from the beginning of the game, and of course generally in competitive play, people try to protect their teams with sparking and take your first character with it. People use it for touch of deaths, punishes, stuff like that. Generally, my rule for paying attention to spark is the longer the spark stays in play, the more you have to pay attention to it. And basically, the extreme of it would be if they still have sparking on their last character, you have to play around it quite actively, because they're going to become super buff, 30% more damage because of limit break, recovering health, better super dash, all these buffs. So the more damage you can do before they spark, the better. Besides that, it's not really worth it to bait spark that much unless like you really know how the person likes to spark in specific situations. I, again, generally like the rule of the longer the spark is in play, the more you should look for it, especially in the extreme of they still have sparking on their last character. Okay, so I hoped that helped awaken your inner eye, right? The game gives you a lot of information. The game throws a lot of information at you, but if you can filter these things and look for these things, these little things could kind of help your game out a lot. The meter thing is kind of hard because, you know, meter is very free, and also a lot of characters have strong EX moves, and they're half off, right? But things like tag is a huge one. I can't stress how big tag is. matches can be literally decided by tag. Like each successful tag your opponent gets makes the game that much harder for you. That's like an additional hit you need to get to beat your opponent. So that's like a huge one. Assist too, because that's chances that for you to get hit, get mixed up in neutral, stuff like that. And of course Spark, because Spark comes up almost every game, and the goal of your opponent using Spark is to protect their character and kill your character. So those are like pretty important. So hopefully these made sense. Leave a question in the comments if you have a question, or just have something to say. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.